guys, it's Tsukimi. If you're new to my channel, this channel is all about veganism in Japan. If you're interested in that, please subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell that you're not missing anything. So in today's video, I want to share with you things you should know as a vegan or vegetarian before coming to Japan. So I'm gonna give you a brief overview about the situation here in Japan and then a few tips how to get by. Number 1, people don't know about veganism. That may sound hard, but that's unfortunately the truth. Especially if you are coming from Europe, the US, or maybe Australia, where veganism is on the rise right now. You can basically go to the local supermarket and buy everything you want in a vegan version. There's so much vegan activism going on. People are getting educated on the matter. So many actors in Hollywood, athletes, and so on are going vegan. So yeah, it's such a common thing already. So people at least know about it. Even like people who are not vegan or vegetarian, they know what it is or kind of know what it is. Unfortunately, here in Asia, that's still not the case. So please keep in mind, if you come here, you cannot expect the same environment. So a conversation with Japanese people about veganism could basically be like this. 私はビーガンです。え、それ何？動物性を一切食べません。あー、なるほど、ベジタリアンか。でも、魚大丈夫だよね。Or it could go like that. 私はビーガンです。え、それ何？動物性を一切食べません。どうして？それ宗教？それかアレルギー？ So please don't get me wrong here. Of course, I cannot talk for all the Japanese people here, but yeah, this is a common situation you will find yourself in. And yeah, if you are in metropolitan areas, the situation is a little bit different. People are getting to know about veganism more and more. So yeah, there might be a good chance that you are not alone. This leads me to my next point, number 2, the availability here in Japan. Vegan foods are becoming more and more available, especially, as I said, in metropolitan areas. You are quite good to go, like Tokyo, Osaka, Kyoto maybe. There are so many vegan restaurants options available, so you don't have any problem, I guess. But if you are going to the countryside, the situation is a little bit difficult. Not only a little bit, it is quite difficult, I think. You're gonna be left basically with the plain rice bowl from the convenience store, or some fruits, maybe a banana or nuts, yeah, fruit juices, stuff like that. If you want to eat outside somewhere, like in a restaurant, it's very hard. Which leads me to number 3, dashi. Dashi is basically fish stock made out of flakes from a fish called katsuo. This is a very, very traditional, common thing in Japan, and yeah, to use dashi in the Japanese cuisine. And I find this maybe the hardest thing to avoid. They put it in everything. So that is one of the reasons why a lot of vegans in Japan, including myself, if we are going to the countryside, and you don't have many options, so it can't be helped, especially in the winter time. If you are like on a trip and you are cold and you want to have something warm, then I just go to the udon or soba restaurant and I have some soup with dashi in it. Number 4, food labeling. So food labels in Japan are only available in Japanese. That might not be such a surprise, but in Europe we have like several languages on the back of a product. So in, for example, German, French, English, Italian, Spanish, Polish, whatever. Yeah, this is not the case for Japan. Unfortunately, there is only Japanese. So in Europe or the US, for example, we've got all these different kind of marks, symbols, labels, which tell us that a product is vegan or vegetarian. Yeah, actually for quite a long time already. But here in Japan, unfortunately, these kind of symbols almost still don't exist. So it's very hard to identify a product as vegan or vegetarian. And yeah, you basically have to go through the whole ingredients list and check the ingredients one by one. Another thing is in Europe, on the back of a product, you would have like an ingredients list, and in this list, you can basically see what is an allergen because it's printed in a fat, bold letter, so it's very easy to understand. But here in Japan, unfortunately, that's not the case. So I just got a Japanese product for you here, just to show you an example. This is a ratatouille sauce. I just discovered this one recently in the supermarkets. It's accidentally vegan. And yeah, you will basically have like the ingredients list up here, and they show you the allergens here on a separate list down here. In this case, it's only daisi, which is soy. So the thing is with this labeling, it will show you the main like allergens, like milk and nuts and yeah, fruits, for example. But they won't show you fish, for example, as an allergen. So another problem with this labeling is that for a lot of products, the allergen list doesn't even exist. This is basically the case for bakery, bento, but also, yeah, a lot of packaged products. So you basically have to have a basic understanding of Japanese to really, yeah, spot out the animal ingredients in the main ingredients list. Also, the labeling in Japan is quite inaccurate. So, for example, emulsifiers, I think in Europe they're clearly marked, like from what origin they are, for example, plant-based or animal-based. But here in Japan, it often, like most of the product, they often say emulsifier, but it won't say from what origin. So it's really hard to understand. You have to contact the company, otherwise you don't know. Number 5 is basically not a thing you should know before coming here, but rather an advice from me to you guys, which is don't stress yourself too much. So many vegans tend to try to be perfect all the time, meaning trying to eat a 100% vegan diet all the time. I think that might work if you're in your usual environment, let's say your home country, your hometown, you know the local supermarkets, you know your restaurants where you can eat out. But if you are coming to another country where you don't understand the language, the situation is a little bit different. So just the other day, I read a comment from a girl on the internet who came here, and she basically said she only ate plain rice balls from the convenience store for about a week because she didn't know otherwise what to eat. I think that's too strict. I mean, I can understand her. I've been there myself in these kind of situations. Although I'm living here and I do speak the language. And yeah, there are often situations where I think, why there is no vegan option? Why can't they change the seafood to the avocado? Why can't they do it without dashi? Sometimes it can be demotivating, frustrating, sad. So yeah, I think you just should not stress yourself about that too much. Otherwise, it's gonna ruin your trip. And I'm sure you're here to enjoy the people and enjoy the country. And yeah, veganism should not be a reason to hinder you from that. So after all this information, you now might think, what the hell I'm gonna eat in Japan? For a good reason. But I have some good news for you. We are living in the age of the internet, and it's now easier than ever. There are many groups on Facebook which make your trip or your life here in Japan as a vegan or vegetarian so much easier. People are sharing products, people are sharing new restaurants. For example, what I talked about, labeling. There's also a group especially where you can ask, is this product vegan? And you can post a picture and people will answer you. People who speak Japanese will answer you. So I advise you to join all these groups on Facebook in advance before you come here, and ask your questions. And also, of course, if you don't know about it, Happy Cow, please download the app. Especially, as I said, if you are in metropolitan areas, there are so many locations listed on Happy Cow. For those of you who are even too lazy to look information up by yourself on the internet, I can tell you there are many different businesses nowadays, like companies who make tours, food tours in Japan. There is actually a friend of mine, she's offering a vegan tour. So yeah, please, if you want to find her information also down below. So these were the things you should know as a vegan or vegetarian before you're coming to Japan. As I said in my previous video, veganism is on the rise in Japan too. Maybe not that much still as it is in Europe or the US maybe, but more and more restaurants and stores are popping up, especially with the Olympics coming up here in Tokyo this summer. I think we're gonna see some severe changes because a lot of foreigners will come here, and I think people here in Japan will realize the demand for vegan and vegetarian products. So this is about it for today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have some questions, comments, please leave them down below. I'm also planning on doing a basic vegan, vegetarian, Japanese course. So yeah, basically to introduce you to the main characters, kanji and phrases, what you can use to get by. And yeah, so please get excited for this one, and I see you next time.